Hello, good morning, good
Good,
afternoon.
good afternoon here, yes.
Oh, great. How are you?
Very well, thank you, and yourself?
I am good. I want to tell you and give you a warm welcome to Free Talk with Mr. B. You are
Thank you
on
so
our
much.
you are on our program. Maybe we can tell our audience where you are and who you are too.
Firstly, yeah, thank you so much for having me on your platform. It's really an honor to be here. I'm in Johannesburg, South Africa, and it's an afternoon here, 8 p.m. I know there right now is quite early in the morning, so I appreciate the time.
My pleasure.
In terms of who I am, I think I define me first by three different roles. One is being a daughter, and then a mom. So those are my three roles. And then
I like the mom
various
part.
other things. So yeah.
Yeah, because I tell everyone I'm a product of a single mom, and I'm very, very proud of that.
Wonderful. Wow. I salute your mom completely, really. Mom,
Thank you.
So yeah, and then I'm a Goodwill Ambassador in Humanitarianism here in South Africa, which was given to me by the GIA UN. And then I'm also the South African Ambassador for the Ladies of All Nations International. I am the National Director in South Africa for the International Youth Society. I have multiple accolades, one of them being the top 100 successful women in the world, another being a recent one, which was the top 30 women leaders. And then I'm the CEO and founder of a company called the MEA Company. And then I am also a co-founding director of an NGO here, which is called Helping Hands Social Society. I sit on quite a few boards, especially governing boards for business and the Women's Chamber of Commerce, as well as the South African Council for Business Women. And I'm involved in lots of the COVID-19 programs and how to curb the pandemic, especially here in South Africa. And there's a lot more to me, but that kind of is me in a nutshell.
So I just would wonder, do you find time for just you? I'm so honored to have some of your time.
Well, thank you so much. You know what? I believe in one thing, and that is that there's two gifts God gives unto all of us. One is the gift of time, and one is the gift of choice. So how we manage the time depends on what you would get out of it. And He's obviously, by giving you that gift of time, you'll be able to then try and make the most of every second you have. And platforms like these is where we reach out to many people. We reach out to other sisters, other mothers, other girl children, even our men and our families around the world. So we make the time. So yes, and I do have me time. I make sure that I schedule me time in for every day, and part of my me time means gratitude time. So that's my me time.
Yeah, and it's important. My platform is a giving back platform, and you're really giving back your time. And we like everyone around the world to know that is something valuable that's worth giving back, because I think a lot of people, they don't know what can they give back. And would you agree about time? Let's see if we can...
You're breaking last bit.
Yes.
Sorry.
So I understand it's like what I call a form of life where the networks will go slow, and I'm very satisfied with that because I like the reality. But tell me about time. How do you feel about giving back time?
Well, I think because, like I just said to you, one of the things I learned from my life's journey thus far, and this goes back many years of me growing up with my grandfather and doing the communal work that he would do, and that's how I learned to do what I do today. And that together with me having been laid up in a hospital bed and being told I'll never walk again, I'll never have kids, and by God's grace I do walk, and I'm a mother today. So time is literally your gift given unto you, and what you do with this time is your choice. That's your second gift given unto you, with your gift of choice. So when you learn to manage both of them, and you know that actually you being here is a gift unto yourself, because that's that in itself is God's gift to you, that you're given life, you're given this life and it's your journey. Now you use the time as a gift and the choice as a gift and make the most of this journey. But the most important part of it is being the authentic being that you need to be, not for other people, but for being you, for his pleasure, because these are gifts he's given to you. And I know this purely because in my being laid up in bed is where my whole being was taken away. I was paralyzed and I was told I'll never walk again, etc. So, you know, when you realize that you're given these gifts in life and you realize and you make your peace with whoever gave those to you, you value them. And then you realize, even in my brokenness, I'm going to mend and I'm going to become whole in my own special way. So the gift of time for me is essential. And that's why the giving back to communities, the humanitarian work I do, that's just my healing, so to speak. You know, the best way to heal is just, I love they're doing that. So, yeah.
One of your articles that appealed to me personally, I wanted you to tell me about, because you have so many accolades and so many things that you do and can do. The one about positive light in our dark times. What was the motivation behind that article, and how do you feel about it still?
I'm sorry, which article was that you're referring to?
Positive light in our dark times.
Oh, okay, that was printed in Cape Town. And I was in another province at the time of that being printed. And that was purely about, I think that was last year. Yeah, it was 2020, around our peak of lockdown here and the pandemic here in South Africa. And at that time is when everything was closed off. People were closed off to communal taxis. You know, there was no work, there was no food getting to people. But together with other frontliners, I took it upon myself, together with some volunteers, and approached some amazing sponsors and donors, and we started feeding people, going into different locations and townships that we have here in South Africa, doing door-to-door deliveries of actual grocery hampers to family to keep them going, and actually even getting the time to go in and talk to people, even if it is, you know, via a system. And you know, when you're going to do a feeding program, you have multiple people waiting for food,
right?
And using that as an awareness campaign project where you would be able to talk to people to give them hope and give them faith at a time when everything was just so dark and so low. So I think that's actually where that came from, in terms of trying to maintain that hope and faith when everything else around you is just falling apart. Because remember, this pandemic has taken everything from everybody, including your willpower and your mental health. So that was me trying to, and I'm still trying to do that today, because right now we are on lockdown 4 in South Africa again, because of the Delta wave that's hit us. So by God's grace, we'll keep doing what we need to do.
I see. And you know, because what also stood out is that you gave some suggestions of how someone can stay positive and stay happy, and in tough times, but it seems so applicable all the time, even even when someone was just one household going through it, or the whole community. And so I'm not sure if you wanted to highlight some of those, but I thought those were still so impactful to share again, you know, and just to remind everybody about it.
You know, and one of the biggest things for me is to maintain the fact that even in whatever your adversity in your situation is, there's still something you have gratitude for. I always maintain that that's the number one right now. This pandemic has caused chaos in the mindset. Really, it has. And if we aren't going to be able to take control and take back control of who we have to be and what we're facing, then we're going to allow this pandemic to get into us, and it should be the opposite way around.
Right.
And just to sum up whatever was in the of my advice, and I still give this advice today to everyone that I talk to in every lecture and platform, is remember, this virus is real and it's there. We all know this, but it's outside of you. And remember, you can't control what's outside of you. I can't control what somebody else would say. I can't control what somebody else is going to do. I can't control this virus and what it's doing. But let's face it, what can I control? I can control me. I can control my precautionary measures. I can control my intake of information. What am I taking in? What am I registering? How am I feeling? I can control me and my emotional state. I can control my family unit and what's happening within my home. So
Right.
instead of focusing so much on what's outside of your control and letting that take over you, rather focus on what you can control, which is you. I can control me, I can control my mind, I can control my positive state versus my negative state. What can I be grateful for right now? The fact that I can talk without a mask on, without oxygen coming in from a machine is something I can be grateful for. The fact that I have my home to have lockdown in is something I can be grateful for. So find a little bit of gratitude.
Yeah. Because you wrote there that embrace the blessings that you were granted. The article said basically embrace what you have, and that's kind of what you're saying. If you're thinking about what you don't have, you could be mentally devastated, because a lot of us have things we don't have, but we probably have what we need. And so if we can embrace that blessing,
Yes.
the ability to wake up and smile in the mirror, I encourage that.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a really nice message.
Oh, thank you. And you know, I think that also comes from the fact that lots of people, business people, employees, people have lost their job, people have lost their businesses. But even in that, what have you taken out of that? And I think the worst is when you've lost actually someone, a loved one, to this virus. How do you cope and what do you do? And I say I lost very close people. My family, we've lost 3 people in 3 weeks at one point.
Wow.
So the art of getting through that for me personally was that I lost them, yes, but I actually gained what? I gained my moments that I had with them. I gained the fact that I had the gift of time that I had with them. Those memories, the treasure chest moments, you know. So it's how you view things that's also very important, how you perceive whatever's happening around you. Because embracing your blessing is so huge at the moment.
Yeah, because like my children, of course, my wife and my children they know the saying that I have is to give flowers while I'm alive. I don't want my flowers later. I want my flowers now.
Oh.
and so the whole idea
we share the same sentiment. I always say that. Give me now.
And so the whole idea is like we keep procrastinating love, we keep procrastinating time, we keep procrastinating telling each other how much we love and care about them. And I'm saying, no, stop already. Do it now. And so that, like you said, if they're no longer around you or with you, you can have those things that you feel satisfied that you were blessed with the ability to do it then, and don't wait till saying, oh, I wished I did it. So I'm very, very glad that you said that.
Yes, absolutely.
That you're able to, you lost something, but you gained all the memories, and you gained the love and the appreciation of what you had. Very nice.
Yeah.
I'm kind of stealing all of the messages, and I know when we spoke, you had some messages you wanted to make sure you get across. Mostly, where do people, who comes to you the most?
Most of the people I see are women and children, women across the globe, children from every school and every age group. But you know, what I must tell you is, Ladies All Nations International, for example, is based in the UK, but we have a South African group, and as there are many around the world, right? It's a sisterhood of trying to build other sisters, so we build each other. And in my line of work, especially when you have to give these workshops that we give, that I give, and if I have to do, the one thing I can tell you, you know, right now, is so many of our sisters are actually enduring the same issues. And yet they feel as if it's them going through the world and going through everything alone. And yet it's not. Once we start to talk to each other, we actually start to realize that we're actually having the same problem. Right. Many of the sisters share the same issues with their kids, the same issues with the schoolings, the same. And yet I feel, why do we have to exclude ourselves? Talk about it. And in talking about it, we're going to be able to gain more. You know, we'll gain more solutions. We'll find more solutions. We'll build each other up and help each other. And there's another thing that I brought up a while ago. I got shot down a little bit for it, but it was important for me, is that the role of empowerment and the word empowerment. Lots of people, especially men around the world, felt or feel when a woman's going to become empowered, she's going to become all disrespectful, she's going to become too powerful, she's not going to know her role, etc., etc. And I'm saying no. So I'm saying two things as an answer. One, why not let's empower our men to marry into how we're empowering our women, number one. And number two, your empowered spouse or your empowered sister is actually going to empower herself in the role that she's fulfilling. And that's supposed to be something that's beneficial for the circle she's in. So if I'm empowering me and I'm an empowered soul, my children, my husband, my family, my parents are all going to feel this positivity and this empowerment, and they're going to see and feel the change in me that's going to be beneficial for them. So the role doesn't have to change or diminish. The role actually enhances in the empowerment state that I get. So empowerment is growth for me. And that is where we need to really gain the perception that if I'm becoming empowered, I'm growing myself. I'm growing myself to redefine, regrowth, reanalyze, and become better for myself and then better for you. So
Yes.
that's what it's all about.
And I like the phrase where you say, and better for you, because around the world, us men need to realize this too, that we do want the observation by our sons and daughters to see our women empowered, because we want them to be products of society. I am a product of a single mom, and the devastation and experiences she went through before she died in her life still says that I don't have to repeat those. I can see her empowerment and correct. I can improve, and me, myself, I can walk empowered. Okay. So it's not just for a woman. When a woman is empowered, as sons and daughters, we become empowered, that we can walk with confidence.
Yes.
Yes, and empowered in a role, because sometimes I think, and I know I live in Americas, work in Dubai, and we put on this platform, but sometimes you are correct, we lose our roles, and our roles become blurred because we use words, whether it's English words or other words. We use words that we are not sure what the definitions are. And so empowerment means better, it does not mean worse. Empowerment could mean a better help. If someone's culture says they are to complement the spouse, then why not have a better compliment by being empowered? So that's a good message, very, very good message, yes.
Yeah. You know, one of the things we need to remember is we all have a life cycle. And in each one of our life cycles, we play different roles. So right now, in your life cycle, you're still a son, you're a husband, you're a father, you're a career person, you're an empowered brother who's going out and giving messages. I encompass all the roles I have. All of these roles are what we enact on a daily basis. Right. And I'm saying to you, is that not empowerment in itself? So why not enhance each of those roles? Enhance them so that, you know, when you have to be the son, you're the best version of the son you need to be. Yes. It does not mean in your life circle, you know, in your cycle, because you become a wife, you need to forget your career. Because you become a mother, you need to forget you were the wife. You know, each of those roles still have to maintain themselves. So you have to know how to sustain them to be the best versions of those roles when you have to play them. And there's no better example than to lead by example in my book. So when you lead by example, your kids have the best of leadership roles that they need to follow. Why mimic others? You know, that's just from the sea.
And that's one of my big complaints. I had to become an adult before I can realize all of the things I needed to do. No one held in my hand and showed it to me. And I was one of those children that was not very good at observing everything. And so getting past 40, then past 50, now I'm in my 60th year, and I'm seeing so many even new things. And sometimes I wish it was clearly defined. And I really appreciate you saying that, because we need to strengthen up each of our roles, the role of a husband, the role of a wife. And this book I'm bringing out is called The Art of Giving Back. And I speak a little bit about that because I would like to see it clearly defined. And when you said our sisters around the world have the same problem, or we have the same concern, or we have the same, we also could have the same solutions. And that's what
Yes.
this platform is for. Why recreate solutions when someone else already experienced it? Why not share it?
Absolutely. And you know, for me, there's no better lessons in life other than your own that you experience through your life's journey. The whole idea, though, is for you to be aware that those are lessons that you need to take. They're not downfalls, they're not failures, they're your lessons, they're your pickup points. You know, learn from them. So even though it's you know, your book's coming out now, but it's this is your appointed time for that book from the man above. That's your gift. It's your gift that you're giving back to us. And I can't wait for that, number one. But number two, there's going to be lessons in there. And those lessons are not because you thought of it now. Those are lessons that you're putting in that book because they came over the 60-year period, you know, so you needed to go through all of those to get to the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes. And I don't, I mean, I understand that it took me a lifetime to learn many things, and I'm humbly appreciating what I learned. But if I could even help one person to catch them at a teenage years, or to catch them when they were small, or have them read some of it, it would be helpful. I will feel satisfied that I'm giving back.
Absolutely. You know what? The whole idea is for us to be able to just make that small difference. And I say this openly, is that, you know, and it's no disrespect to any men, but I believe that that's why I say my goal is to really reach as many women in the world as I can, because when we're able to empower and grow one woman, we're actually empowering and growing a household. And that one little household will then grow and empower a community. Yes. And then that little community will grow and empower the whole of that society. And then you get that whole society that empowers and grows a whole nation. It starts with one. Yes. You know, you make the difference to one, you're going to make that impact and difference to other. And there's no better lead by example than by you yourself. So when I stand on a platform, I'm not, and you know, I studied multiple different facets and degrees. I do have them, and that's by God's grace. But for me, I'll probably keep studying throughout my life, you know, different forms, different everything. But I keep studying and gaining knowledge because I want to grow me, so that in every situation I have the knowledge I need to impart to somebody else. But the reason I'm saying that is, when you have the knowledge and when you take the time to learn about different facets, you tend to understand different people. And your understanding of different people is what's needed for you to be empathetic, for you to actually feel for others and know instead of generalizing and not knowing. And that's what we really need to adapt in order to see growth in other people.
Very, very good. Very, very true. I realize you have a lot of subjects, and I always ask my guests, please, because we would like to always have you back on so we can cover one of those key topics or one of those key subjects and keep giving back to the global community, at least one experience at a time. So I look forward to that. Will you freely come on?
Anytime. You just tell me whenever you need me and I'll make the time. Time is a gift, remember, giving back.
Yes. And in this scenario I'm building, the United Nations gave you a call to speak to their General Assembly. And in this scenario, you spoke to them, and knowing that you were before the world, you wanted to leave with some of your last paragraph conversation, a profound message. What do you want to leave as a key message before that assembly as you were speaking?
Well, wow, that's an on the spot one. But I'm standing before I'm standing before an assembly, but it's not just that assembly. I'm standing before just me and him, and that's my moment, and that's my gift of time. So my choice of words has to be very, very real. And I think my message would be very simple. That's to remember that this is your journey. I have one journey, one life, one chance. So has everybody else that's seated in the assembly or in the world. Surely every one of us deserves the best of that. And if it's not going to take us to make that happen for ourselves, and if we as leaders in the world are not going to be able to make that happen for the people who can't do it for themselves, then what is our purpose of being in the assembly? So we need to take the stance, we need to take the chance, we need to stand up and be a voice for those that can't be heard, and then make them realize that their voices are that important to be heard. So it starts with us to make the difference.
Thank you so much, because that's a wonderful message to the world. And that will be the message that would be at the end of this video cast. and podcasts so that the whole world will know that they have a voice. And with that, I wanted to definitely thank you for being on Free Talk with Mr. B, because we allow people to speak freely. It's a platform where we can have a voice, and we want to be able to eloquently share those voices around the world. So thank you so much. I know I have a lot of plans. One of my plans is definitely to be in your presence in South Africa at one of your occasions.
Wow.
I've been to Johannesburg before, but I definitely think it would be nice to also be present one of these times.
Well, let's do one of your shows live here in South Africa. Would that not be awesome? We'll arrange that post-COVID.
For sure. We'd love to do that, and I look forward to it very much. Thank you so much for being on, and you have the wonderful rest of your day.
You too. Thank you very much for having me. It's an honor, and God bless you and your mom and your family. Please stay safe, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you. God bless you.